Have you ever wondered where Boston's ultra-wealthy actually live? They're snatching up brownstones with doorbells older than the Constitution, or moving into glass towers in Seaport where HOA fees cost more than a year at UMass. No influencer tours, no open houses, just weird transfers and whisper listings. Meanwhile, your average Bostonian is Googling, is Quincy walkable? And that right there is the line. Because in this city, money doesn't always show up the way that you'd expect. It hides behind Ivy in Brookline. It rides the elevator straight to the 54th floor in the Back Bay. And half the time, it's coming from buyers who never heard of Market Basket, but somehow own 3 condos within walking distance of one. So if you want the truth about where Boston's wealthiest live and what that actually means in 2025, stick around. This video's got receipts, and yeah, it might mess with your sense of what's normal around here. Boston doesn't wear its wealth on its sleeve. It tucks it behind brick. It hides it under 3 layers of historical commission paperwork. And if you don't know what you're looking at, you'll walk right past a $15 million home and think it's just another brownstone with, well, a decent window box. But that's the thing. Real money in Boston isn't loud. It's strategic. It's not flaunting. It's nesting, tied to legacy, proximity, access, and yes, ego, just delivered with a Harvard whisper instead of like a Miami scream. And what makes this city different from most any other luxury market is simple. Here, the ultra wealthy aren't chasing square footage. They're buying position, close to the power centers, the hospitals, the universities, the view of the river that no one else gets. Because in Boston, where you live says just as much as what you live in. Boston isn't just expensive. It's historic, it's strategic, and deeply personal. The neighborhoods we're about to tour aren't just for the wealthy. They're magnets for power, prestige, a certain type of person who could live anywhere but chooses here. And if you're watching this wondering how to make sense of this market, whether you're buying, selling, relocating, or just trying to figure out what's possible, this is exactly what my team and I do in Boston and beyond at every price point. But here's where it gets interesting. Not all of them are going for the old guard spots anymore. There's a new name on the list, a part of the city that used to be parking lots, shipping containers, and broken sidewalks. Now it's lined with buildings that look like tech startups, and every square inch is owned by someone who could, well, buy the startup. Let's talk about the Seaport, because Boston's billionaire class just found its playground. There was a time not long ago when the Seaport was just parking lots, chain link fences, and the kind of win that made you question, well, your life choices. Now it's Boston's most engineered luxury zip code. It didn't grow like a normal neighborhood. It curated, block by block, brand by brand. Today, it's where Boston's new money goes to feel seen, but only when it wants to. We're talking about condos with skyline views, private elevators, and amenities that feel more like a resort than a residence. And not just any resort, a 5-star one, where the lobby art costs more than your last car. Right now, perched atop the St. Regis Boston, there's a penthouse listed for $49.5 million. That gets you 10,000 square feet across 2 dramatic floors, an indoor infinity pool, and harbor views that make you forget that it's still technically New England. It's less Boston condo and more billionaire lair with, well, tasteful lighting. Not ready for that? There's, well, a 1-bedroom at the Echelon. Well, it has its own 600 square foot private terrace, a gas grill, an outdoor TV, full concierge services, and it's yours for around $2 million. It's 712 square feet of home plus 50,000 square feet of shared amenity spaces, rooftop pools, a golf simulator, a spa, and yes, a basketball court. But nothing says that the Seaport is a casual game of half court after your 3rd Zoom board meeting. And listen, I know what you're thinking, it's a bit over the top, but this is what the top 1% are buying in Boston right now. I'm not saying it's normal, I'm not saying it's real, but this isn't about luxury for luxury's sake. People choose Seaport because it's, well, self-contained, it's efficient, it's livable. Do you need groceries? Whole Foods and specialty markets are steps away. Want to host clients? You've got Woods Hill, Pier 4, Ocean Prime, and Committee, the kind of restaurants Michelin would rate if they ever decide to show up, in Boston. Oh, that's right, they are coming to Boston. We're just waiting on those stars. Need a last-minute suit? You're 5 minutes from high-end retail without needing to cross a single street. It's one of the only parts of Boston where you can live an entire week without a car, an umbrella, or even a plan. You're 10 minutes to Logan, 2 to your office in the financial district, and less than 5 to anywhere that really matters. And while the rest of the city might pride itself on grit, Seaport deals in polish. It's curated convenience, and that's the real sell. Why this place and why is it in such demand? Well, there's 3 reasons: status, proximity, and insulation. This isn't just a place to live, it's a flex. You're steps from the big tech HQs, the ICA, high-end dining, private clubs, and 0 tourist traps. For execs flying in, it's 10 minutes to Logan. For hedge fund managers, it's 2 minutes to their office. For everyone else, it's exclusive, and that's the point. This is where Michael Dell, yes, that Dell, the billionaire founder of Dell Computers, kept a penthouse in Millennium Tower before moving into, One Dalton, another Seaport adjacent trophy tower. Robert Langer, co-founder of Moderna and one of MIT's most decorated biotech minds, well, he lives nearby too. We're talking about a guy who helped create a vaccine that reshaped the world and now lives blocks from the ICA, probably enjoying, a $27 salad. It's not just expensive, it's efficient wealth. Every inch is optimized. Every building, a glass monument to financial acceleration. And yet, despite all the gloss, there's still a Boston edge to it. You'll see a fintech CEO in Allbirds having oysters next to a guy who still calls it Southie, but owns 3 commercial buildings you didn't know were for sale. Seaport is where Boston's richest make an entrance. But if you're someone who values pedigree over polish, if you want legacy, not logos, you're probably heading somewhere with fewer elevators and more gas lamps. And if you're watching this thinking, okay, this is amazing, but where do I fit in all this? That's literally what my team and I do every day. Whether you're moving to Boston, upgrading, downsizing, or trying to make sense of what's smart in this market. We help real people at every price point figure out where they actually belong. So hit us up, even if you're early. It's what we're here for. Now, I think it's the time. Let's head to Beacon Hill. If Seaport is all about new money and engineered luxury, Beacon Hill is built on something deeper. It's legacy, it's discretion, and old world positioning. And while the bricks may look, the same block by block, what's inside them is anything but average. Let's talk about numbers first, because yes, Beacon Hill is still one of the most expensive places to buy a home in Boston, and it's getting, tighter every single year. And as of 2025, renovated brownstones on the flat of the hill are regularly trading between $6 million and $12 million, depending on the square footage, condition, and parking. Homes on the south slope, closer to the common and the public garden, can quietly go north of $15 million. And if you get one of the single family estates on Chestnut, Mount Vernon, or Lewisburg Square, you're either a Fortune 500 CEO or part of Boston's financial aristocracy. Abigail Johnson, CEO of Fidelity, worth $25 billion, she owns one. So do her siblings, Edward and Elizabeth Johnson, in Beacon Hill and nearby Milton. When you see a home listed on those streets, just know you're late. And here's the thing, there's no inventory. At any given moment, you're looking at under a dozen single-family homes for sale, many of them off-market or only by word of mouth. Buyers don't scroll, they're referred, they're family, or they're quietly competing against trustees. But what's the actual lifestyle? Beacon Hill is Boston's most walkable luxury neighborhood. You've got a 5-minute stroll to the public garden, 10 minutes to Newbury Street, 15 to MGH or downtown, and 20 to the Seaport by car. Though most people just walk, or, they don't leave at all. It's lined with private clubs like the Somerset or Union Club, top-tier healthcare, historic churches, and elegant shops tucked into, storefronts that haven't changed in a century. You've got the Paramount for brunch, Grotto for an underrated Italian date night, and some of the city's best boutique wine and cheese shops just, steps from your door. Now, groceries, head over to Whole Foods in Charles River Plaza, or grab your basics from Savonar's or the gourmet butcher used by Julia Child. You won't see school buses lined up. Beacon Hill isn't where people raise families. It's where people, they maintain empires. Most owners either sent their kids off to boarding school long ago, or, they bought a second home in Brookline before the stroller ever hit the cobblestones. This neighborhood isn't built for day to day. It's built for the moment. It's built for the moment someone Googles your address and says, oh, they live there. And it's not just a vibe, it's a choice. If you buy in Beacon Hill, you're not looking for square footage. You're looking for symbolism. You're looking to live in a neighborhood where your neighbors are judges, professors, financiers, and, diplomats. And yes, Well, billionaires. You're not choosing Beacon Hill for the views. You're choosing it for the unwritten status code. It's where Amos Hofstadter Jr., the former Continental Cablevision CEO, quietly holds court. It's where Jim Koch, a founder of Sam Adams, owns property just a few blocks from there, where his beer became, basically Boston folklore, and where the Johnson family, that empire, keeps its institutional stronghold without a speck of gold leaf or a trace of social media. But Beacon Hill isn't for everyone. Tight staircases, historic limitations, no garages unless you're in Louisburg Square, and barely any outdoor space. It's charming, yes, but it requires that you buy into the lifestyle. And if you're the kind of buyer who still wants proximity, elegance, and historic weight, but without the constraints, there's one neighborhood that delivers that balance. Let's head to Back Bay, where Boston's luxury gets a little more polished, a little more architectural, and a lot more livable. If Beacon Hill is Boston's past, Back Bay is what it evolved into. It's still polished, it's still prestigious, but with a little bit more espresso and edge. You're not walking into history here, you're walking into legacy with a Whole Foods 2 blocks away. And that's the draw. People who live in Back Bay aren't looking for flash. They want timeless. They want convenience without compromise. Think of it like this. Your steps from Newbury Street, that's Boston's 5th Ave if it had, better coffee and more Red Sox hats, and you grab a flat white at Tate, browse vinyl at Newbury Comics, eat a steak at Abe and Louie's while watching someone in a $5,000 outfit parallel park a G-Wagon like it's their first time behind the wheel. It's hilarious. It's iconic. And well, it's home. And real estate here, it's not cheap, but it holds. Classic brownstones on Com Ave and Marlboro range anywhere from 4 to 10 million depending on size, renovation, and let's be honest, condos at 1 Dalton, Boston's tallest residential tower, have traded hands north of 30 million. And right now, I've got a listing at 360 Newbury Street, 7th floor, 4 million, killer views of the skyline. Yes, it's that building, the old Tower Records, now transformed into one of the most sought after modern residences in Back Bay. You want location, you want design, you want to live in a landmark, that's it. Back Bay is almost where the money hides in plain sight. Michael Dell, yes, the Dell Computers guy, has lived here. Jim Koch, the guy behind Sam Adams, he owns here too. And Amos Hofstadter Jr., the cable TV billionaire, is somewhere between Beacon Hill and the Back Bay grid. But here's what makes Back Bay just different. You're not sacrificing walkability to get the lifestyle. The Esplanade is your running route. Newbury Street is your lunch break. Fenway is your neighborhood stadium. You've got public transit on the Green Line, Uber pickup zones that actually work, and a neighborhood that somehow balances peace and buzz without trying too hard. And the dining, well, we may not have Michelin stars yet, but we've got chefs cooking like they're trying to earn them before the dinner service is even over. Uni, Crossy, Contessa, Select Oyster Bar. It's a gauntlet of date night greatness. Oh, that's right. The Michelin stars are coming to Boston. We're just waiting on those stars to land. And if you're watching this thinking, Joe, this sounds amazing, but who actually helps people buy in a place like this? My team and I do. From 500K studios to $15 million brownstones, we help real people find the right spot in Boston and beyond. Whether you're relocating, upgrading, or just tired of guessing, we got you. It's what we do every single day, because Back Bay isn't for everyone. It's for people who get the city and want the city to get them back. And for those who want something even more private, let's zoom out. Brookline, Newton, and Weston are next. And they've got grass, garages, and enough square footage to make Beacon Hill feel like, well, a studio apartment. If Beacon Hill is legacy and Seaport is flex, this is the third move on the board. It's quiet, strategic wealth, the kind that doesn't want the spotlight because it already owns the building with the spotlight. Brookline and Cambridge aren't just wealthy, they're engineered for the long game. Think proximity to Harvard, MIT, Longwood Medical, and a who's who of biotech academia and boardroom power. This is where Nobel laureates, tenured professors, and biotech founders raise kids who build rocket companies before finishing middle school. Robert Kraft, yes, that Robert Kraft, has lived in Brookline for decades. Jim Davis, the New Balance billionaire, same story. And Robert Langer, co-founder of Moderna and arguably one of the most influential biotech scientists alive, that's Cambridge royalty. The money here is old enough to be discreet and new enough to fund, well, moonshots. In Brookline, you're talking single family estates in places like Fisher Hill, Pill Hill, and Coolidge Hill, ranging from 4 million to 20 million, depending on land, pedigree, and how many former governors lived on your street. Cambridge, it's modern architecture hidden behind colonial facades and $10 million glass boxes wrapped in historic zoning. Want convenience? Brookline gives you suburban calm and a 15-minute drive to the Back Bay or Seaport. Cambridge, your steps from the Red Line, biotech headquarters, and restaurants where the deals get signed between the second course and the sommelier's pitch. And here's what most people don't realize. You don't need to leave either town. Top tier private schools? Check. Gourmet markets? Done. Some of the best Zagat rated restaurants, indie bookstores, and culture in the state? Already here. The houses may not scream wealth from the curb, but check the deed history. You'll find foundations, trustees, and holding companies, because this is where Boston Brain Trust lives. And the only thing richer than the soil is the resume of your neighbor. So quick check-in. What's your vibe? Beacon Hill's old money, Seaport's new edge, or Brookline and Cambridge's kind of hidden power base? Let us know in the comments below. This is where the real debate starts, but maybe you're thinking, I want more land, more privacy, fewer tourists, and yes, my own gated driveway. Well, you're not alone. Let's talk about places like Wellesley, Weston, and Newton, where Boston's elite go when they're done playing chess in the city and want the entire board, well, to themselves. By now, you've probably figured it out. Boston's ultra wealthy. Well, they don't all live in the city. Some of them left the city a long time ago, intentionally. They weren't downsizing, they were upgrading their peace of mind. Welcome to Wellesley, Weston, and Newton, where Beacon Hills heirs go when they want acreage, quiet, and the kind of privacy that even Google Street View doesn't mess with. This is where you trade your brownstones for private tennis, elevator buildings for heated circular driveways, and dinner at Contessa for a private chef making swordfish on your bluestone patio. Let's start with Weston, Boston's most elite town by average income. You've got gated estates sitting on 3+ acres, tucked away behind stone walls and lined with sugar maples older than most trust funds. Homes here regularly sell in the $6 to $15 million range, especially along Meadowbrook, Chestnut, and Love Lane. Love Lane, by the way, isn't cute. It's a power move. Weston is where Jeremy Jacobs, billionaire owner of the Boston Bruins, well, he holds court. You won't find him at an open house. You'll find him on the board of directors and behind a 500-foot driveway. Then there's Wellesley, the polished prep school version of suburban luxury. Think about it as, well, elite private academies, walkable town centers, and colonials that look like Ralph Lauren threw a block party. Here you'll find deep-rooted family wealth, Ivy League alumni, and those $8 million kind of shingled estates you swear you've seen in those Nancy Meyers movies. Now, Robert Hale Jr., the telecom billionaire behind Grant Telecommunications, owns property nearby, and a good number of folks here split their time between Brookline and Wellesley, depending on the season, schooling, and, well, whether they're feeling heritage or horses. And then there's Newton. Don't let the suburb label fool you. Newton has range. It's got 13 villages from Chestnut Hill, where some condos go 3+ million, to West Newton Hill, where you'll see new construction kind of pushing that 8 million mark. This is where the modern moguls land. The surgeons, the VCs, the early Moderna investors. And unlike Weston, Newton's a little more, well, Trader Joe's and Tesla's than landscaping crews and land trusts. What's the lifestyle? Honestly, it's strategic luxury. You're still 20 to 30 minutes from Boston, depending on traffic and, well, how much you trust Waze. You've got elite private schools like Roxbury Latin, Dexter Southfield, and the River School. Golf courses, country clubs, farmers markets with caviar samplers, and enough Lulu to qualify as, well, a brand ambassador. But the real deal, it's control, space, autonomy. You don't share walls. You don't fight for parking. You don't ask if you can gut renovate. You just bring in the architect. These towns are less about showing wealth and more about owning your freedom. And if you know, you know. Drop in the comments which of these towns actually fits your lifestyle. Are you team acreage and tennis court, or walkability and old world prestige? Because up next, we're done with fantasy. It's time for the reality check. You've seen where Boston's wealthiest live, and now we're breaking down what it actually costs to live that way. Taxes, monthly cost, HOAs, school tuition, renovation headaches, all of it. So let's go. This is where it gets real. All right, so let's talk about what nobody talks about. The real cost of living like this. Not the Zillow price, not the life price. You want that Seaport tower life? That $3 million condo isn't just a mortgage. It's a $4,000 monthly HOA fee. It's $30,000 in annual taxes and, well, another $20,000 a year for valet, maintenance, and lifestyle overhead. Want to upgrade a kitchen? Well, you're pulling permits for months, and your contractors, well, honestly, they're probably already booked through next April. And now Beacon Hill, sure, it's iconic, but owning a brownstone means you're also inheriting 150 years of plumbing, windows that rattle like a haunted mansion, and a historical commission that'll, well, approve the renovation, maybe, by 2035. And oh no, no garage. $7 million address, you're still circling the block looking for parking during snow emergencies. Head out to Brookline, Weston, Newton, you get land, privacy, peace, but with it comes lawn crews, private school tuition north of $50,000 a year, and property taxes that, well, they make your CPA blink twice. You want that tennis court? Cool. Well, I hope you've got $75,000 for the install and $5,000 a year to just maintain it. Cambridge sounds simple until you realize that adding a bedroom to your $5 million house might trigger zoning battles, neighborhood meetings, and a 6-month architectural review. And don't even think about adding solar panels without a huge fight. These places are beautiful, they're powerful, but they come with a maintenance calendar that's longer than your wedding vows. The Seaport is efficient, yes, but you're in a glass box. That $49 million penthouse, yeah, it looks great until the shades break and you realize that they're custom imports with, well, a 12-week lead time. Beacon Hill is full of charm, but you'll spend weekends negotiating with chimney sweeps and brick masons. No glam, just real. And then there's the emotional cost. These homes, they don't ask for money, they ask for decisions. Do you send your kids to public school or pay for Milton Academy? Do you renovate now or wait 5 years and pay double? Do you sell off market for privacy or list and let the world know that, well, you're cashing out? This isn't a fantasy. This is, well, it's strategy. Because behind every $10 million closing is a spreadsheet, a team of advisors, a tax plan, a vision that goes far beyond the front door. Boston isn't just expensive, it's layered. Every square foot comes with legacy, ego, efficiency, or, well, all three. And if you're watching this wondering, how do people afford this? The answer is they don't just afford it, they justify it. Because where you live in Boston isn't just about shelter, it's about story, what you value, what you're signaling, what kind of life you're willing to build and maintain to belong. So before you fall in love with the views, the finishes, or, well, the doorman who remembers your dog's name, do the math, do the soul check, because this city rewards the bold, but it punishes the unprepared. So if you're serious about buying, selling, or investing in Boston at this level, you don't need just a good agent. You need a strategic partner, and that's what we do. Let's be honest, Boston doesn't make it easy. It makes you decide what matters most and makes you pay for it. Want the new money glow up? You're living in the Seaport. All glass, valet parking, infinity pools, proximity to sushi that flew, farther than you did. You want to flex without saying a word? That's Beacon Hill, where your brownstones never been on Instagram, but your last name's carved into a granite wall somewhere. Need a break from it all? You're in Weston or Wellesley, where silence is the status symbol and privacy isn't a luxury, it's the floor plan. Cambridge, you're probably, well, rewriting the future in a biotech lab or arguing about who actually deserved that MacArthur grant. These aren't just zip codes, they're philosophies. They're declarations of where you stand, how you live, and who you share your elevator or your acreage with. So if I had $10 million to spend, part of me would go for the peace. A long driveway, a tennis court, dinner under string lights with no neighbors in sight. But the other part, well, it still wants a city that moves, to feel the cobblestones under my boots, to walk to work, to stop for an espresso, nod to a surgeon, a cellist, a billionaire, and not know who's who. That's the magic of Boston. It's not one lifestyle, it's all of them, layered, contradictory, expensive, strategic, personal. So is it worth it? Only if you know who you are. If you're still watching, I already know something about you. You're not just curious, you're intentional. And if Boston's on your radar, whether you're moving across the country, across the Charles, or across the hall into your next big thing, you deserve advice that's grounded in real experience, not Google guesses. That's why my team are here, and that's what we do every single day. We help people like you make the right move at every price point in every neighborhood worth knowing about. And if you've got questions about buying buying, selling, investing, or just figuring out what's actually possible, well, reach out because this market doesn't wait. And if you're just getting started, keep going. The next video in this series dives even deeper into what it actually takes to buy a home in Boston, from hidden fees to bidding wars to the one thing that nobody talks about until honestly, it's too late. So watch that next and you'll be 10 steps ahead of most buyers already. We have something for the sellers too. And if you're selling, we're here for you as well. I'll see you there.